when I did the first ever G1, we had 52 show up.
Wow, that is a amazing turnout.
Yeah.
Look at everyone joining in. Hello, everyone.
As everybody knows me, it's beer time.
I didn't know that it was beer time, so I'm just drinking plain old water, but that's okay.
So wait a couple more seconds.
Of course. Yeah, we'll give it a minute or two. Just, some people kind of
stragglers.
Yeah, and then I will let everyone know that this meeting is recorded, just so that we can send this recording out to other people in case you miss it, or if you have technical issues and you get kicked out halfway through. Well, it looks like Troy's having a few issues, maybe.
I'm glitching again. I am.
You're glitching. Then we'll send everyone the recording, and I will also send a PDF version of my PowerPoint, so that if there's something that you were trying to maybe make notes of or write down, and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl's talking so fast, I didn't get to it. Don't worry, I'll send it to Troy and he can send it to you.
Oh, that's very nice. I didn't even think of that. That was very cool. So I want to welcome everybody to this Zoom talk and showing interest to the Morocco tour. We have Jenna English from Gadventures. I met her for the first time in October at a Travel Leaders Network conference, and she is my new Western rep. So she is going to take it away over in a second. I would say, if you have your mic on, please turn it off. So you can turn your videos, it's up to you, but turn your mics off so we get no background noise. Yeah. And it's all yours, Jenna.
Thanks, Troy. If you do have questions during the presentation, if you could just maybe put them in the questions part of the chat. I know Troy's gonna do his best to keep an eye on that. Anything at the end that we still haven't answered, I can come back after my presentation. Wow, Troy, look at the people coming in. They're just, waiting room.
There was, like I said, there was 54 that shown interest, 21 registered. We got 3 spots left, so.
This is amazing. I am so happy to be talking about the highlights of Morocco tour with all of you. So thank you for having me this evening. I imagine you're all maybe joining in the West Coast. I'm here in Victoria, BC, but yesterday I was in Ontario. So if we do have any other people from earlier time zones, then kudos to you for logging in tonight. Now, we're going to discuss the 15-day tour that Troy is going on in September. Like he mentioned, we have 3 spots left on this tour. I don't know if there are some people in this group who have traveled with Gadventures before. If you have, amazing. Welcome back to another virtual travel talk. And if this is your first time, I will be so excited to share the brand of Gadventures with you and just show you some of the highlights that you will see on this tour. I'm going to just share my screen. So if anyone is trying to put their hand up on their camera, I'm sorry, I won't see you. Just put the questions and answers in. Sorry, everyone. I just wanted to figure out all the technical.
You should probably mute everyone.
Yeah, I think people are muted now. Yeah, looks good. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so you can see my presentation. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see this presentation here. Oh, perfect. Thanks for the thumbs up, Troy. All right. So as Troy mentioned, my name is Jenna English, and I am the representative for Gadventures for Western Canada. So that includes British Columbia and the Northern Territories. I've been working with Gadventures since 2018. I started as an inside sales representative. So if you ever called to book a tour with us, you might have spoken to me on the phone. And I recently moved into this position where I work directly with agents and help them do these virtual travel talks. There's a lot of conferences and things like that. So I love talking about Gadventures. It is a wonderful company. And now I'm going to tell you why it's important to travel with Gadventures and what makes us different from some of our competitors. Sorry, I just see more people entering the room. Okay. So why travel with Gadventures? It's not listed on here, but something that makes me really proud is that we are a Canadian company. We started in 1990 in Toronto, and we've grown to have over 600 different tours in over 100 countries on all 7 continents. Now we focus on small group adventure travel. That means that most of our trips have a maximum group size of 16 people. We do this because we think it provides a more intimate experience, and we can also use locally owned hotels and restaurants, which promotes the local economy versus using chain hotels, restaurants, transportation, etc. We also use locally based guides. So we love our tour guides. We call them our CEOs, our Chief Experience Officers. They are the ones who will be taking you around. They're very proud to show off their countries. They also know the best places to eat. They know the best deals for optional activities. And you also have someone who can explain the culture, the customs, and help you even with translation while you're there. So they're a great resource to have. With Gadventures, we offer you some flexibility, freedom, and fun. That means that with most of our tours, we throw in some activities for you, but we also give you free time for optional activities. Maybe not everyone is super active, or maybe not everyone likes history and art. And by giving our travelers freedom, they can actually go and choose what they would like to do in that destination, which makes it a more enjoyable tour for everyone. We also have a book and travel with confidence policy. So of course, just coming kind of out of the pandemic, there's still, some unforeseen things that can happen. So we want to make our travelers at ease. We allow customers to cancel and rebook tours closer to departure date than some of our competitors. We also are built to support local communities. So with a lot of our tours, you will see our G for Good projects. These are projects that focus on providing employment to either women's groups, Indigenous communities, or help provide experiences for youth in that community. And G for Good. So again, that's kind of with Planetera. It's all the good collectively that Gadventures does. We feel like the best vehicle for wealth redistribution is traveling. And what better way than to travel with a company that supports local? So when you go there, you feel like you've actually experienced it and you haven't just seen it, right? Okay, now I have a 30-second preview of Morocco. Now, fingers crossed that the video will work. Bear with me because sometimes videos and Zoom do not mix. I can always send you the link if it doesn't work.
Seeing it firsthand, hard to explain.
Okay, I hope that that worked. Oh, we don't need to see it twice in a row. Like I said, I can always send it to you after the presentation. I see, oh, some other people have been. All right, so highlights of Morocco. This is the tour that Troy has organized. It is a wonderful tour, one of our top selling in the destination. It is 15 days. It starts in Casablanca and ends in Marrakesh. So this is a very fast-paced tour. It covers a lot of ground in a short amount of time, but we do that so that you can really get the most out of those 2 weeks that you're there. Some of the things that you will be doing will be wandering through kasbahs, spice markets, medinas, and you'll just get to feel the energy that Morocco has. I mean, it's a country that's influenced by French and Spanish, and it just has so much rich history, African, like it's such a wonderful place. You'll climb onto a camel and explore the edge of the Sahara Desert, and you'll also get to see the Atlas Mountains. You will get to explore souks and go into medinas and shop for some amazing wares, not fairs, and take a moment to appreciate this amazing adventure. You'll actually spend a night in a mountain gîte. So that is something pretty special.
It's loud.
Sorry. Okay. Again, so this is a classic travel style. If you're familiar with Gadventures, we have several different travel styles to cater to our different clientele. Classic is really our bread and butter tour, where I mentioned we include some activities, but there's also some free time that we give our travelers to make it the tour that they want. The service level is standard. So this means that they will be clean, centrally located hotels that you're staying at. They're not going to have the same luxuries that we might be used to in Canada, where you would have, fitness centers and spas and things like that. We really try to promote local when we can, so they will be smaller. The main thing is that they'll have a lot of character, and they will be centrally located. They'll have a 24-hour concierge, and the hosts will be able to speak English. Those are the main things that we look for. You don't really spend too much time in your hotel on these tours anyways. So really it's just a place to leave your valuables during the day and then get some restful sleep at night. The physical rating is a 2 out of 5, so nothing too challenging with this tour. Of course, if you want to make it more active, you certainly can. And that can be something you organize with your tour guide. And the trip size for this one is a maximum of 14, average of 10, but we're starting to see that increase actually coming out of the pandemic, because a lot of Canadian travelers are eager to travel again. Now, something important to note, there's no visa required for Morocco for Canadians, which is very nice. But it is the responsibility of each traveler on their trip just to make sure that they have all their documents in order, with expiry dates longer than 6 months from the date you're in Morocco. And then mandatory travel insurance is something that we require for Gadventures. It is a $200,000 US policy that covers medical, evacuation, and repatriation. Now that $200,000 is an umbrella amount, so you might already have travel insurance that covers those 3 things. It's not $200,000 each. It just collectively needs to have a $200,000 value. Okay, so we will get into the details of the tour. One thing I do want to mention is that this tour starts in Casablanca. You'll meet the tour guide on the first day at the starting hotel at approximately 6 p.m. But if you are looking to have a guided tour around Casablanca, it is a very good idea to contact Troy and ask for some free nights in Casablanca, because the very next morning we start leaving to our next destination. So if you want to see Casablanca, you might want to consider coming in a few days early. Also, as I said before, this tour covers a lot of ground, so there will be some longer travel days. Just wanted to, let all of you know so it doesn't come as a surprise later on. Okay, on day 2, we're leaving Casablanca and we're heading to Chefchaouen pretty early in the morning, but we do that so that we can take or make the most of each day. So you are going to see approximately a 5-hour drive in the morning. The bus driver will make pit stops along the way so that you'll be able to have some drinks and pee breaks as well. And they'll stop at points of interest for you to take pictures. And then in Tangier, you'll have a guided tour. So you'll get to learn more about that city. And then you're back in the vehicle for another 2 hours to go to Sept, and that will that'll be your final resting stop for that night. On day 3, you'll have a full day in Chefchaouen. Maybe some of you are familiar with that. That is the blue city of Morocco. And so you get free time. Some of you might want to choose to do the Rift Valley mountain hike. If you want to do that, you just have to make sure that you have proper footwear with you. You do not need to bring any hiking poles or things like that. You can certainly rent it in the city. But if you are more into history or art, you can certainly reach out to your CEO and they can arrange other activities for you. On day 4, you are leaving Chefchaouen and you are heading to Fez. So you're going to go through the countryside, and on the way, you are going to stop for a community lunch. This is one of our G for Good projects and another way that we give back to the local community. So the proceeds of this lunch program support vocational training for rural women, allowing them to support their families and their children without having to relocate to larger cities. Then you're back in the vehicle before you stop at Vuglius for a guided tour. You're going to visit the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So you'll see a lot of Roman ruins and things like that. So a lot of history is kind of embedded into this tour. Right, on day 5, you will be in Fez. So Fez is known for having these great medinas where a lot of people can pick up different wares. Leather goods are incredibly popular here. Important to note that only local certified guides are allowed to guide you through the Medina. So at this point, the CEO who's been taking you on the tour, they'll actually likely stay at the hotel during this day in case some people maybe finish shopping early and want to plan another activity. So they'll help with that. But because there's over 9,000 windy streets of the Medina, that's why it's important that we have local guides to help us so we don't get lost. All right, on day 6, you're going to be moving from Fez to Merzouga. Now, this is the longest travel day of the tour.
10 hours. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, sorry, Debbie, I'm just going to mute you. But yes, 10 hours is a long time. We will make pit stops along the way. But, you know, in those 10 hours, you can finally catch up on your sleep if you are, you know, feeling a little tired. You also have the opportunity to connect with maybe other travelers who've been doing something different during the tour. And like I said, the driver and the tour guides will make pit stops along the way so that you can see different points of interest. But the main
I will jump in here quickly. This
Sure.
is the one long day.
Yeah.
This is the one day that everybody has asked me about. It will suck. We are in the shuttle and it's just a long, long day of driving, but there will be breaks. So back to you. I just wanted to say, you know, it is, we are aware of it and we just
Okay.
kind of have to suck it up and do it.
No worries. Yeah, I mean, I've been on tours like this before where we've had, you know, up to 12 hours of driving in a single day. And trust me, the tour guides do their best to make it entertaining. But really, if you have any travel books with you, this is a great opportunity to just sit back and relax. Maybe you're going to bring earplugs and an eye mask and just get some sleep. So, but I do appreciate, Troy, that you have kind of given everyone a heads up for this.
I'll jump in here again because this question just came up for this. What
Okay.
kind of shuttle are we in? Do we have a picture of it at some point?
There's no picture on my slideshow. No.
Okay.
I could try to get you one. I mean, most of the the vehicles that we use have like a maximum of 15 people. So they're almost like the shuttle buses you would take to the airport, for instance. And that's why we have like our max size what it is, because we can't add any seats for safety and insurance reasons as well. So it'll be something like that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Somebody asked and get it out of the way.
Yeah, no, totally. That's a great question. Okay. So after the long day, you do get to stay in Merzouga, and this is where you'll get to experience a camel ride. There is a point in my presentation, someone who actually did this tour not too long ago said that if you are allergic to cats and dogs, there is a very high chance that you will be allergic to camels as well. So maybe everybody should just bring some anti-allergy medication just in case, because you'd hate to get all the way there and then have an allergic reaction. I know myself, I'm allergic to cats and dogs. I just take allergy pills every day because I need animals in my life. But if you're like me, definitely pack some allergy medication for this part of the tour. But yeah, you'll have a guided tour on a camel. They say, you know, such a fun experience. I haven't done it myself, but my friends that have done it absolutely loved it. And yeah, that you'll get to watch the sunset and things like that. And they'll take some wonderful pictures of you. And on day 8, you will go from Merzouga to Todra Gorge. But that's where you'll get to enjoy some of the local food, and you'll get to take some lovely pictures of that area. I don't have any picture of the Todra Gorge, but I'm sure you could certainly Google it and find one. And then the next day is when you go to Ben Hadou, and that is, of course, the UNESCO site that a lot of people are looking forward to seeing. So it's the most intact remaining kasbah. So that's what it's kind of known for. And during this day, you'll also get to do a tagine cooking demonstration if you so choose. A lot of people who have done it say that they actually wish that they bought the cookware that it was used in, because it was just really delicious, and I guess hard to replicate if you don't have the proper tools here in Canada. But yeah, this is a slower day. As you can see, there's a bit of driving in the morning, but then the afternoon is free to do this tour. And then on day 10, you'll get to see the High Atlas Mountains. So one thing I do want to point out here is that because you are staying in a mountain gîte this night and having a meal there, tonight's the only night where it is multi-share accommodation. So as they say, there's up to 6 beds in the room. Bedding is provided, and the tour date, I should say, that Troy has picked is September, which is a great time of year because it's warm and dry. But if you are someone who runs cold, like me, you might want to consider just bringing maybe a sleep sheet or a sleep liner in your luggage with you. That way you have that extra layer. And then they also recommend bringing your own towel. I would recommend maybe a microfiber towel, something that is really absorbent without being too bulky. So you can just roll it up tight into your suitcase. And while I'm on the topic of suitcases, it is best to limit your suitcases to just one main piece of luggage, and then also bring a day pack for these day excursions. Soft-sided luggage is always preferred because it's easier to stack in the vehicles rather than hard case luggage. Backpacks and duffels are great, but we know not everybody has that. So if you do have a suitcase, just try to have a soft one. Yeah. And then on day 11, you are traveling from the Atlas Mountains to Essaouira. I hope I'm saying that right, but I am not Moroccan, so I think that's the best I can do. But this day is free for exploration. So there are a lot of activities that you can choose from. You can always ask your guide. You know, some people might just want to walk and explore the area, take some pictures. Other people might be interested in hiking. So it's completely up to you. I believe there's also surfing available in Essaouira. So if you're someone who wants to hit the water, maybe you're used to doing some surfing in British Columbia, you can certainly do that as well. And day 12, we've left it open again. So anything you didn't get to do on day 11, you have time for on day 12. You'll see, oh, there's windsurfing and surfing. And then there's also the traditional Aman experience. So it's a way to get squeaky clean. And if any of you have ever been to Turkey, it's very similar to a Turkish bath, where you go into a large bathhouse and get, cleaned up. There's usually a pool and a sauna. Oh, it says a steam room and a body scrub. So you feel really rejuvenated afterwards. And there's also some mint tea. Apparently mint tea is everywhere in Morocco, so get used to drinking a lot of that. All right, on day 13, this is your last travel day. You are heading from Essaouira to Marrakesh. It's only about 3 hours in the vehicle. And when you get to Marrakesh, you are going to go through the Medina and you'll have a guided tour there, get to eat some local fare and get to check out the, is it Baha Palace and take pictures. So Marrakesh is where your tour ends. So this will be the last time you have to travel to a destination, and then the rest of the time really is yours to do as you wish. On day 14, that is when, pardon me, you'll see there's lots of different options. I didn't include them on the slide just because there were so many, but if you go on our website, you'll see all the optional activities that you can do. I believe there's a hot air balloon ride that you could do if you haven't done one before. They're absolutely fantastic. And then on day 15, you depart Marrakesh at any time. So the tour just ends in the morning. I also want to point out that with this tour, there are a lot of breakfasts that are included. So a lot of the hotels will have breakfast for you in the morning. We don't always include a lot of lunches and dinners because some people have different appetites. So maybe some people just need something very small for lunch, and then they want to save up and have a larger dinner. So rather than us charging people for 3 meals a day, and maybe they don't need that, you get breakfast in the morning. There's a few of those community lunches, and then dinner is typically with the group, but it's not mandatory. If you are traveling with someone else and you just want to go off and do your own thing for dinner, that's absolutely fine. The CEO can recommend lots of great restaurants to eat at, but I would say in my experience with the tours, by this time, everyone likes to hang out and catch each other up on what they did for the day. So usually they like to do a communal dinner. Okay. Oh, I'm just admitting. Troy, wow, there's a lot of people coming in. This is so great. And then just quickly speaking about Planetera. So as I mentioned, it helps empower local businesses in the areas that we travel. We do tend to focus on youth groups, women's groups, and Indigenous communities. Worldwide, we have over 100 projects, and in this tour, you are going to visit 2 of them. So it's just one way that by traveling with Gadventures, you are certainly giving back to the communities that you're traveling with. Or traveling to, I should say, not with. Okay, a few frequently asked questions. So one of them is, how much money should I bring to cover meals that aren't included? So we recommend between $390 and $510 US to cover those lunches, dinners. This estimate doesn't include alcohol because not everybody drinks alcohol. So I would also budget some more if you plan on drinking some wine while you're there. Is drinking water provided? So it's safest to drink bottled water. During your welcome meeting with the CEO at the beginning, this is something you will discuss as a group. If the group chooses to buy larger bottles of water, they can, but I usually find that it's easier if we just purchase individual bottles. At G, we really hate using plastic bottles. It's only in some regions that we have to. If you do have a reusable, maybe stainless steel bottle or plastic or Nalgene bottle, for instance, certainly bring it with you because a lot of the hotels will provide filtered water as well, usually in the lobby, so you can just refill it there. Can I pre-book some of the extras? Yes. So if you want to do the Rift Mountain hike, the Amman experience, or the hot air balloon ride, 4x4 desert excursions, those can all be pre-booked in advance. Just contact Troy if you want to add them onto the booking. And if you're not quite sure what you want to do yet, don't worry, you can still purchase these in destination. I will point out that in Morocco, they don't accept Canadian dollars. So as Canadians, you would either have to convert your money into US dollars, and that's accepted there. Or while you're in Canada, if you can find a currency exchange that has Moroccan dirham, then you can change some there. Some places will accept credit cards, but keep in mind when you're shopping in the Medinas and things like that, or when you're leaving tips, it's going to be harder to use credit cards. So having some cash on hand for spending and also some cash for an emergency fund is a really good idea. Will I be able to do laundry? As I've kind of gone through the tour, you'll notice that it is fast paced. You're not really staying in a city for longer than 2 days. So you likely won't have time to send any clothes out to be cleaned. What I would do is bring some clothes that are really nice and light that you can hand wash in your room and then just drape over the shower curtain, for instance, to dry for the next morning. I find that it's better, to do that, and also pack things that are light. Scarves are really good because you can use them, to cover around your neck, your shoulders. If you're going to any mosques, you should cover your head just to show respect for the culture. So having a scarf that can do a multitude of things is great. It also makes a great cover up if you happen to go out swimming anywhere. Okay, what should you pack? Oh, well, I guess I planned this well because I was leading into that. So as I said, backpacks, carry-on suitcases are preferred. Make sure you have your passport. Make sure it is valid for over 6 months from the date that you will be in Morocco. Make sure you have your insurance details, your flight details, credit cards, cash, modest clothing that covers knees and shoulders. You'll want to bring a shawl or scarf for temple visits, hat, any sun protection, sunglasses, camera, good walking shoes. I also meant to put charger in there with phone because I've definitely lost a few chargers traveling around. And also a good idea would also be the charger. I'm blanking on the name, but the converter that you would need to charge our plugs to work over Morocco. And then also the dry bag or day pack for day excursion. So when you don't have to bring all of your luggage with you, just something nice and easy. You can put a bottle in, maybe an extra layer or two, and some snacks, for instance. I did include the link for our Gadventures packing list. So again, when I send this out, you can always follow the link and see a very detailed list of things that we recommend for the tour. Is insurance mandatory? Yes, it is. So as I mentioned, again, $200,000 US worth of coverage. So that's for evacuation, medical, and repatriation. It's a common question people ask, what is repatriation? And it's kind of morbid, but it's if something were to happen to you and we had to get your body back to Canada. So I'll just get that out of the way in case there were any questions about that. But we just want to make sure that you are safe and you have coverage. So yes, every single traveler that goes on a Gadventure trip must have that insurance, and you provide us proof by filling out your good to go profile before you leave. And then I also threw in there with, the world just coming out of the pandemic, more than medical insurance, it's also important to maybe have some trip cancellation insurance. So I'm sure Troy can give you a quote for that if you don't already have some. Sometimes people already have like home and auto insurance, so maybe you combine it with that. But if you don't have any travel insurance, contact Troy. It's probably going to be your easiest thing. Okay, when's the best time to go to Morocco? Well, the dry season is June to October. So this tour taking place in September is wonderful. July and August are the hottest. So the temperature's just dipping a little bit in September before it gets to the wet season. So it's perfect. It does get sun year round, but some locations, including the mountains, it is common to see snow. So just at the top, of course. But we're used to seeing that in British Columbia anyways. Tips from G travelers who've been to Morocco. Sahara Desert is beautiful, but I'm allergic to camels. So as I said earlier, make sure you bring those allergy medications if you do typically have allergies. Packing layers is a must. The weather is warm, but you're encouraged to dress conservatively. Light scarves are easy to pack and can be worn in a variety of ways around the head, neck, shoulders, and waist. And it's common to haggle at the markets. Don't forget to get some souvenirs before your tour ends. You don't want to get all the way to the airport and go, oh, this is what I need to bring home for people, right? You want to give them some nice, authentic souvenirs from the Medinas. Okay. If any of you are thinking about reading about Morocco before you go, I made a quick list of 5 books that'll help get you excited for the tour. Some of them are fiction, some of them are nonfiction, so it's a good variety. And I just thought I would post them there in case we have some people who love to read about a destination before they get there. And if you don't have time to read some books before you go, we also have a blog on our website about Morocco. So you can always go on that and get some travel tips from people who have been there. You can take a look at pictures that other people who have been on this tour have taken, just so you get a better idea of what you can expect. Okay, question time. I am going to stop sharing my presentation for now, just so that I can also allow some other people to on if they have any.
I got one here that's actually a really good question I've never thought of.
Okay.
Okay. What happens? This is because of flights.
Okay.
What happens if your flight is delayed and you miss the start of it?
That's a really good question. And it's something that has happened in a lot of different destinations. So in that case, our local office would be in touch with you and also the tour guide on the tour to find a place where we could basically wait for you. So if you're at the airport and you're late, it would be your responsibility just at the start to get yourself to where the tour is. So whether that's a taxi, it would likely be a taxi, or possibly like a public bus, because there is a bit of a long travel day on day 2. You would have to incur that expense at first, and then that is something that you could get reimbursed through insurance. But that is also a good reason, because we don't stay in Casablanca for a full day. If you can get a flight the day before, it does just give you a little bit of a cushion in case there's any delays.
That's what I'm advising everybody to get over jet lag. Either fly into Europe, take a few days, get in early into Casablanca, or just get 2 or 3 days ahead into Casablanca.
Yeah, no, that's great advice, Troy.
Brian, will there be in a WhatsApp group? Probably I would set that up once everybody is paid their full payment. There is a private Facebook group for the people that have put deposit down, where we're already talking and planning our flights.
Okay, that's a really good idea. And sometimes you will do that with the tour guide as well. So if you already have a WhatsApp group, Troy, maybe the tour guide will just add themselves to the group.
Yes.
And that way they can give instructions or directions in case, some people are off doing an excursion, it's going long.
Cool. Yeah, that definitely during the tour, there will be a WhatsApp group, because as Jenna just mentioned, the tour guide gives us updates. Like he'll say, oh, our bus is leaving at 7:15 instead of 7 o'clock in the morning. So there will be one on the ground. Another one that asked, this will be for you, Jenna.
Okay.
Is travel insurance through a credit card valid for your mandatory?
So as long as it covers the 200,000, so I would contact your credit card, whether it's MasterCard, American Express, Visa, and just get them to outline the policy and let them know that the dates you're traveling, because we want to make sure you're covered from the time you leave Canada up until the time you come back to Canada.
Catherine, what do we got here? Yes, basically, if you fly in early, there's two ways to do it. You get yourself to the hotel. That is the cheaper way to do it. I will admit that. But if you do book the transfer for me and Gadventures, they pick you up at the airport, and if there is a hotel change, they get you to the correct hotel.
Yes.
The G policy is usually the hotel are locked in 60 days before minimum, that's their policy. So I don't see the hotel changing at last minute unless there's some kind of freak accident.
Right. I mean, it's happened before where I was on a tour and the hotel changed while we were on tour simply because some pipes burst and they said there would be no water pressure. So things like that, that gives us enough reason to find another hotel, for instance.
Yes.
But we always use the local ones that are on the website. Nope, sorry, yes. Troy.
No, I was going to say so, but the cover, there would be, when you do final payment, I will have a WhatsApp group. There's also the Facebook group you'd be part of. There would be a way to get a hold of me, and I would update you when I know.
Yeah.
So, what do we got? Catherine asked, the maximum group size is 14. It's a private tour. I have to have minimum 8, maximum 14.
Yes.
And all the tours I do with G are the same format. I don't like large tours myself personally.
Yeah, with a small tour, it's more intimate. Our CEOs are really excited to show off their countries, so they really try to bring you in and make you feel like family while you're there. Yeah. And also,
you do learn a lot from them. They tell you about the culture, the history, the politics. If you ask, they will tell.
And not to mention that having a smaller group of 14 people plus the tour guide, so 15. It means that when we go to a local restaurant, we're not overwhelming them with 40 people. So it's another way that we can give back responsibly.
Brian asked about Wi-Fi. I would assume Wi-Fi would be Wi-Fi will be in the hotels. How reliable it is,
yeah,
that's up in the air.
Yeah,
truthfully.
I would say yeah,
in Jordan, it was great. In Jordan, I was able to upload, do videos. On a 15-day tour, it might be cheap enough to buy a SIM card. Because that would probably be dirt cheap. What does Catherine ask me? Does anyone from G travel with the group? The only people connected on the tour is the CEO and the driver. Everybody else is a friend. There's a few of us in here that are going.
Yeah. And I will say that our tour guides, our CEOs are always in touch with our local office. So at Gadventures, even though our head office is based in Toronto, we have 29 offices around the world. So they're always, checking our group leaders. Do they have the support they need? And if anything were to happen, like any emergencies in destination, at least they have their local office there to support them. So for instance, if something happened where you missed that flight and you didn't meet the group on the first day of the tour, you'd be working with the local office. You might not meet anybody per se, but you would at least get their contact information and they would work with you to get you to the tour safely.
Yes, because when I take all your info, we have your email and your phone number. So G has that and we'll be able to contact you if there's a problem being late. And it looks like I have a shopper that's going with me. Lenka wants to know, how is she going to get her purchases home from Morocco?
That's a really good question. I mean, I know some places that I went to in Turkey, like when I went to the Grand Bazaar, they would offer to ship it for you. But that is a question that I'd probably come
Yeah.
back, Troy, with an answer.
Yeah, no, because I know in Jordan, at the one place we went to, they would the king of Jordan subsidized it and would ship anything home from it.
Wow.
Of course, it was $10,000 for a table. So it was a beautiful table. It was a beautiful table. Let's see. Dee's asked about safety.
Yeah, so one of the big benefits of going with Gadventures is, the safety and security of a small group, and also having that tour guide that knows the areas, so they can tell you what places to go and which places to avoid, I'd say most importantly. Now you already have, I mean, Troy's organized a private group, so there's a bit of security there as well. If you were booking a non-group, or I shouldn't say a non-group, but if you weren't in a private group, actually solo females are Gadventure's largest demographics, because we are the ones who don't really feel safe going to these places by ourselves. So it's a way for us to be able to travel and experience these areas, where we're not alone. We're traveling with other like-minded people. So I hope
And following up on that, this is why I'm sort of picking some of these destinations. Like it's Morocco now, then it's India in February 2024, Peru 2024 in September, Tanzania 2025. Like I'm picking spots where people don't feel comfortable traveling by themselves. So safety in numbers, and there's great people. Like a lot of these people that go on this, I have met already. I've already had beers with them. We're gonna have a blast.
Yep.
Oh, Catherine has asked. Oh, this is another one for you. How many times has G run this particular tour? I would say in the thousands, but
Probably, like, gosh, I can't even think of when this tour started. It's
oh,
over the years, it's been not, I don't want to say upgraded, but one of the things that we ask you as a traveler is to give feedback when you come back from the tour. So it's constantly being improved. That's the word I'm looking for. But yeah, we've had this tour. Oh my gosh.
well, it must run 15 times a month.
Yeah, it's a very
It's
popular tour, and
yeah.
we've had it for maybe, like, I would say between 5 and 8 years at least.
Yeah.
It's
They have it. It's a well-greased tour. They got it down pat. Sherry, is it safe to run in the morning? Sherry, it's not safe to run anytime. It's a disgusting habit. Just drink beer and enjoy life. But on the serious note, depending on the day and what is planned, you would have to get up really early to do it.
Yeah.
And the safety, I think everywhere is safe. I am a man 6'2", but I have known solo ladies have gone to Morocco and they feel safe. It's all your comfort level, but it would be tough to get a run in before we had to get up early to catch the first bus.
I had a colleague who went there just 2 months ago, and she felt extremely safe. Now she was just traveling by herself, but in our group tours, like just the public ones on our site, and so she felt safe. But again, I know she didn't run, so
Yeah,
it's hard for me to say that exactly.
yeah, that'd be a tough one. And honestly, I just don't see it happening. Like I did the Jordan tour with G in late May. There was no time. Like we were up early. You're out traveling all day. You're visiting the sites. You come back, you have a meal, and you're back in the room around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
There is not much time.
Mhm.
But it's the jogging in the morning, that's your own safety level and how you feel comfortable with.
Mhm.
How much
Your
is
CEO on the tour would be the best person to
yes,
ask in this,
100%.
because if they say don't go down this street, but if you head this way, it might be okay. like I said, they live in the area, so they know best.
The best thing I ever been told was actually a cab driver in Cairo, and that I've used everywhere since. If you see a street with kids and families in it, that's a safe street. If you see a street that has nobody in it, you don't go down that street. And that's pretty much how I live by now. And it makes sense.
Good advice.
Somebody asked how much airfare. I've been checking it every month now for the last bit. It is around $1,200. That is a direct flight from Vancouver to Casablanca.
Wow.
There are probably cheaper way to do it, which I'll look into and I'll discuss with people, like getting the cheapest flight into Europe, and then a discount carrier into Casablanca.
Mhm.
You know, that's probably, but you're looking around 1,200 right now.
Okay.
In the last 3 months I've looked. Hotels for the breakfast, most will probably be the continental breakfast or something provided by the hotel. They
Yeah.
usually have pastries or something.
Yeah, I would say most of the time it is continental. They might have the odd hot thing, but just keep in mind, it's not always what we're used to over here in
Oh, yeah.
Canada. Like when I was in Turkey, their breakfast was a lot of like cheeses, fruits, olives, nuts, salad. And I was like, salad for breakfast? Like, okay. I'm like, all I want is like a piece of toast and some cereal. But yeah, so just keep in mind that, they're going to offer you local cuisine. So it might be a
Yes.
little different.
That's what I'm going for. I'm going for local stuff. But yes, you are not going to get eggs and bacon and hash browns. It's probably going to be pastries, easy light food.
Yeah.
What is the difference between the tours and the public site? There's actually, well, there is no difference, truthfully. The difference between a public and the private. Basically, with the private is you're going with people that you probably have met. We're almost, I think all of us on this one are from the Lower Mainland right now. And I have said, if I get enough people, I will be getting a discount back at some point. Because G gives me a discount. So if I meet my quota, I get a discount and I will pass that back on. I just don't believe in double dipping. And that's the truth of it.
I see another question here too. Do we fly out of Casablanca at the end of
No.
the trip as well? No. So the tour ends in Marrakesh. It's up to you when you book your flights. If you're booking them through Troy, maybe if you're doing that direct from Vancouver to Casablanca and it's round trip, it might be a good idea to purchase that, but then also just purchase a one-way from Marrakesh to Casablanca at the end of the trip.
Yeah. It'd probably be cheaper to fly out of Casablanca home. That is something that once I get everybody committed, I will dive into to give people options. It could be cheaper to take a bus from Marrakesh to Casablanca. It's all, again, how comfortable you are and what your budget is as well.
Yeah, and how much time you have, because the bus is probably going to be, another 8 or 9 hour day.
Oh, totally. It'll be an adventure.
Yeah, versus a quick little flight.
But this is why you travel. I prefer local transportation.
Yeah.
But
so you're really seeing the area versus just like going to it and going, oh yeah, okay, I've been here. Like you're tasting the food of what it's like to be there. And even that homestay with the mountain gîte, a few people might go, oh, well, like multi-shared accommodations, but it is just for the one night and to stay with a local family in this really rural place. You'll have so many travel stories to tell your friends when you come back.
And the locals really appreciate it because they learn, we learn, we share knowledge, we share passion, and they do make some money. It does help them out of poverty, and G does do that really well.
Yeah,
they do give a lot back.
In fact, some of our Planetera projects are so profitable that they do give some of their profits back into our foundation so we can open more projects throughout the world. So it's just like it's something that always made me feel so good. Like I was a traveler with G before I started working for G, and it was on these tours where I was like, wow, I didn't realize that travel could make such a difference. But instead of staying at a hotel one night, when we were in Guatemala, we split into groups of 2 and we each stayed with local families. And the families were so excited to have us. You know, we had our own bedroom, our own bathroom. They wanted to cook for us. And then they were sharing stories with us. They had us sign like a little guest book. They had people from all over the world stay with them. And these are people that are, you know, interviewed and vetted by Gadventures, usually people with families. And, you know, maybe the dad goes to work, but then the mom wants a source of income. So her looking after this kind of little bed and breakfast really supports their family.
It will be the highlight. It will be the highlight of your tour. No doubt about it. We in Jordan, we did 2 planetarium ones. We did 2 restaurants. One was all women who were in abusive relationships who tried to getting out of it. And they started a restaurant. And then we went to another one. We're in a non-tourist area that they were trying to build up.
Okay.
So travel, the honest to goodness truth is travel is bad stuff can happen. You could lose your phone. You could get robbed. You could get sick. But those same things can happen here in Vancouver. It is part of life. You know? So when you travel, yes, stuff can happen. But the majority of the time, people are amazing. I got so many good friends through travel.
And the world's like a smaller place every time you travel. I mean, on the tours that I've done, now I have friends who live over in South Africa and the UK. And when I go to visit, now I have free places to stay. It's great.
Yeah. Let's see. Catherine asked a couple questions here.
Okay.
The general attitude toward tourists. Honestly, if we're in a market, we're probably looked as a money bank. We are wealthy. We are wealthy compared to the majority of the Moroccans. So yes, they are going to come up and try to make you haggle. The general attitude, though, is
don't just give them
pretty safe. Yeah, but we are pretty safe because Brian asked me that question earlier. Most bad people and robbers and all that, they don't screw with tourists because when they do, it affects the whole country, and the military and the government crack down on it. They can't tolerate it because travel is such a huge part of so many countries' GDP. So overall, we are going to be pretty damn safe. We are with a guide. We are almost never by ourselves, unless you choose to be. There are times at night you don't have to eat with the group. You can go on your own. You know, but that's up to everybody's own personal level of safety and how they travel. The price is $16.99 with Canadian. Gadventures has been really nice. So their rule has been they only allow 2 single supplement rooms. They have been super nice. We were actually up to 5 solo rooms. Yes.
Right.
And we can request more. If it's available, we can request more. And that's $5.19 if you want your own room. So yes, it's been G's been really good on this one for adding extra solo rooms. What is the mix of male and female? There are 2 males. One is married and they're sharing a room, and the other male is me. And honestly, I hope another male doesn't come on this tour because I'd get my own room for free. I love that. So right now it is 9 women, 2 men.
Right, Troy, you could get 2 more men and maybe they share a room, and then you would just.
That's the other way we can go. You know, that is the other way we can go. 14 May. What we were talking about, the registered was for the Zoom call. Oh, my video a little glitchy. We had 50 people interested in the Zoom call, 24 showing up. But the group size is 14. It is capped at 14. I am one of those spaces, so there's only 13 in me. The price does not include the flight. So it's $16.99 plus your flight, plus some meals and whatever you purchase. I worked that out to be 29. I worked that out to be low 3,000 for 15 days, about 3,200, 3,300. You know, that's what I'm budgeting. The typical age, we're all old and crippled here. Probably around 50, give or take 5 years on each side. I see Lenka's going on the trip. Debbie's going on the trip. Shelly's on the trip. That hated runner is on the trip. I don't like her, she's too athletic. So what else? It's Catherine, it is shared unless you want to pay for solo.
I should say, with Gadventures, we don't charge solo travelers off the bat if they join our tours. So all of the prices on our site are based on double occupancy. It's only if you want to have that extra privacy and extra room that you can inquire about what it would cost to have your own room. Now, in some destinations, that limits another traveler from joining on the tour, like on a marine tour, for instance, where we can't just add an extra space on a boat. So if you want your own cabin, you're basically eliminating a person from joining. But in tours like this, like, wow, I didn't know that we were so generous with having 5 single allowed on this tour. So that's fantastic. So if you do want one of those, just let Troy know. But when we do room people in double occupancy rooms, it's always based on gender. So we would never put like a female with a male together when they don't know each other, right?
Yeah. So like on this one here, me and Shelly have traveled together. So if it's an odd thing, me and her might share, but I'd hope she'd pull a princess card and say, no, I can't do that. We both get our own room for free. Yeah. We'll talk about that on the side. How do we match up? I've been asked this one before. So how I prefer is actually, most of us are from Lower Mainland. So if you come to one of my meetups, you get to meet the other travelers and you hope you can meet somebody that you get along with. If not, as Jenna mentioned, they do it by gender and honestly a little bit of age. They don't want to put an 80-year-old with a 20-year-old. They do have some common sense. And right, Catherine, you live in Nelson. Basically the Zoom calls. I will do, if you do join, there will be private Zoom calls for the people who have put money down. So we can all talk and get an idea. I think. Do we have anything else, people? Because we've been doing this for an hour. We're over an hour. It's been great.
That's okay. I'm glad that there's been so much interest. I will also say that it's wonderful that Troy is making these private groups, because when you know each other, and let's say this one's super successful and you all get along, then maybe all of you will want to go on like India or Peru or Tanzania. But if this travel talks got you excited and you're like, Troy, I can't wait till September to travel. It's only January. I will let you know that right now on our Gadventure site, we do have something called the Great Adventure Sale. So it's 25% off select tours. Some of them are for departures before June 30th. So I encourage you to take a look at those. And if you're interested in booking them, certainly give Troy a call and he can organize those for you and do the flights and insurance and things like that. But we do travel to all 7 continents. So if there's some place on your bucket list, we likely have a tour there.
It's a great deal. 25% off is, I've never seen a 30% off. I think this is their highest discount. And the 25% does cover Antarctica too. If you want to get out of the way and knock something off your bucket list, I think Antarctica is included in that.
So it is included in the tour, but it is 10% off for Antarctica on category 3, 4, and 5 cabins. So we have 5 different cabins, and 1 and 2 don't qualify for the sale because they're multi-share. But if you want a more upgraded cabin with, let's say, a double bed or a larger window versus a porthole, then definitely take advantage of it. And like I said, the sale ends January 31st.
Yes, we have 2 weeks
you're-
left. It
Yeah,
is a great G, like I said, I've been on G. It's a great company. I had a blast. The people that were on my tour, we have the WhatsApp group still going and we still talk. It's a great way if you are a person that feels uncomfortable traveling by yourself. This is a great way to get out there because everything is planned for you. It is, you basically, all you got to do is show up at the airport, get on that plane, and pretty much that is it. After that, you are taken care of. And you are going to meet some great friends, and the trips, wherever you go, traveling is great. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, so please, 3 spots left. If you're interested, shoot me an email. Jenna's going to send me the recording here tonight or tomorrow. It'll be out to everybody in 24 to 48 hours. The G sale is for 2 weeks. Contact me for that. I mentioned earlier, I have India, February 4th, 2024. Peru, September 22nd, 2024. That one there, we have to get on early if you want to actually hike up Machu Picchu. I have been told a deadline by G to get our permits in. And Tanzania is back on for January 4th. And not G related, I am going to do some cruises. I'm going to lead some cruises. So, keep an eye on my Facebook group or the meetup group to stay up to date on all the stuff.
And you've got a packed calendar there, Troy.
I'm trying. I love traveling.
So do I.
Most of these people have met me through Meetup, and I joined Meetup in 2015 in a travel group. And I traveled internationally for 5 years by myself while I retired. Yeah. And now I'm broke and have a job. Still trying to travel. So here we are. Anyway, thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, no, thank you, Troy, for putting this together. I was happy to give this presentation, and thank you all for attending, and thank you for your attention. I'm sorry that the link went out only a few hours ago. That was something technical with Zoom, so I apologize. I definitely was under the impression it was sent weeks ago, but you made it. And for anyone who didn't make it, we will send out the recording, we'll send out the PowerPoint, and I'll make sure I put those links in for the sale. So if you are excited, you can take a look at what we offer.
That's it, everybody.
Thanks,
Cheers.
everyone. Have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody.